For the last decade, the electric vehicle revolution has been a shouting match. Companies have competed on 0 to 60 times, futuristic jagged edges, and six-figure price tags. It was a war of excess. But while the giants were fighting for the luxury spotlight, a ghost slipped through the front lines. It arrived without a celebrity gala. It arrived without a Super Bowl commercial. This is the Baojun Cloud, a vehicle priced at roughly $15,000. On paper, it shouldn't exist. In the Western world, this budget barely buys you a used combustion engine with high mileage. Yet, in China, this car isn't just existing, it is dismantling the status quo. It raises a disturbing question for every major automaker on the planet. If a company can deliver a fully functional EV with over 300 kilometers of real-world range for the price of a basic economy hatchback, what exactly have we been paying for all this time? This car didn't appear out of thin air. It is the calculated strike of a joint venture known as SAICGM Wuling, a partnership between China's state-backed SAIC Motor, General Motors, and the regional manufacturer Liuzhu Wuling. They are not interested in the vanity metrics of the West. While others chased high margins, they cornered the streets. They built the Wuling Mini EV, a car so small and cheap it turned the electric vehicle from a luxury status symbol into a household appliance. Over 1 million units sold. It was the proof of concept. The Baojun Cloud is their evolution. It targets the most difficult demographic in the world, the pragmatic middle class. These are buyers who do not care about 0 to 60 times. They care about utility. They care about the grocery run, the school drop-off, and the bottom line. The design philosophy here could best be described as anti-aggression. In a market flooded with cars designed to look like fighter jets, the Cloud looks like a cloud, unassuming, gentle. It is a psychological tactic. It tells the buyer, this is not a machine you fight with. This is a machine you live in. But a pretty shape means nothing if the heart is weak. Critics assumed that at $15,000 the battery would be a ticking time bomb of degradation and poor range. They were wrong. The secret weapon inside the Cloud is LFP chemistry, lithium iron phosphate. While premium brands rely on nickel and cobalt, expensive, volatile metals that drive up costs and fire risks, Baojun bet on iron. It is abundant, it is cheap, and critically, it is remarkably stable. In standardized abuse tests, LFP chemistry shows dramatically lower fire risk, resisting conditions that would send conventional lithium-ion batteries into catastrophic failure. It is not invincible, but it is far more forgiving. Furthermore, unlike the batteries in some luxury EVs that degrade after a few years of aggressive fast charging, LFP batteries can endure thousands of cycles with minimal capacity loss. The trade-off? A modest reduction in energy density. That means slightly less range per kilogram of battery. But for a car designed for daily city driving and suburban commutes, that trade-off is not a weakness. It's a strategic choice. They didn't build a battery for the racetrack. They built a battery for the next 10 years of your life. Step inside, and the cheap narrative falls apart completely. The interior isn't stripped down. It's curated. The seats are stitched to resemble a classic Italian sofa. The dashboard is a horizontal expanse of minimalism. There is no transmission tunnel, no gear shifter cluttering the space. Because this is a dedicated EV platform, the floor is flat, turning the cabin into a lounge. But the true genius of the Cloud isn't what's inside the cabin. It's what's behind the price tag. How do you build a legitimate electric vehicle for $15,000? You need 3 things: a ruthlessly localized supply chain, massive scale, and a government that wants you to succeed. Start with the supply chain. The vast majority of the Cloud's components, from the electric motor to the battery cells to the dashboard displays, are sourced within China's sprawling domestic industrial ecosystem. There are no transoceanic shipping costs for parts, no import tariffs stacking up at every border. The battery cells come from suppliers like CATL and its subsidiaries, companies that have spent a decade building the largest and most cost-efficient battery production infrastructure on Earth. Then there is scale. SAICGM Wuling didn't build the cloud from scratch. They built it on the back of the Wuling Mini EV, a platform that has already moved millions of units. When you've already amortized your factory tooling, your R&D costs, and your supplier contracts across millions of cars, each new model gets cheaper. The cloud inherited an economy of scale that most startups spend a decade trying to achieve. And finally, because the car has no engine oil, no spark plugs, no transmission fluid, and no exhaust system, the total cost of ownership is a fraction of a comparable gas car. Over 5 years, the savings compound. This is not a miracle. It is a victory of logistics, scale, and strategic positioning over luxury and margin. And this is where the story shifts from engineering to warfare. Let's start with the Titan. BYD is the undisputed heavyweight of the Chinese EV market, and increasingly the global one. But even Titans have blind spots. And the Baojun cloud is sitting directly in it. When a customer walks into a dealership and sees BYD's Dolphin at $25,000 and a Baojun cloud at $15,000 that matches it on interior space, matches it on range, and offers a comparable ride quality, the math becomes dangerous for BYD. The cloud falls short on charging speed, on infotainment sophistication, and on advanced driver assistance features. But here is the critical insight: the buyer. This car is designed for does not prioritize any of those things. Now consider Tesla. In Shanghai, Tesla has been slashing prices on the Model 3, fighting to hold market share in a country where the competition breeds faster than anywhere else on Earth. Tesla's cheapest offering in China still starts north of $30,000. The cloud undercuts it by half, and for the daily commuter, it delivers the same core promise: electric, quiet, and cheap to run. The cloud isn't trying to beat BYD on technology. It isn't trying to beat Tesla on brand prestige. It's beating them both on value. And in a market of 1.4 billion people where the median household income hovers around $15,000 a year, value is not a niche. Value is the entire battlefield. But there is one fortress the cloud has not yet breached: the West. As of today, the United States levies a 100% tariff on Chinese-manufactured electric vehicles. The European Union has imposed countervailing duties that can push past 45%. These are not subtle market signals. They are walls, designed explicitly to keep cars like the cloud from reaching Western consumers at their domestic price. A $15,000 car becomes a $30,000 car the moment it crosses these borders. At that price, it competes head-to-head with established Western EVs, and without brand recognition, without a service network, and without a safety rating from Euro NCAP or the NHTSA, it loses every advantage it had. So the cloud is not coming to your dealership tomorrow. But that is not the real threat. The real threat is what the cloud proves is possible. If a fully equipped electric vehicle can be manufactured, sold at a profit, and put on the road for $15,000 in 2025, then every Western automaker charging $35,000, $45,000, or $55,000 for a comparable daily driver has to answer a question they have been avoiding. Is that price tag engineering necessity, or is it margin protection? The cloud may never cross the ocean, but the pressure it creates will. While the world watches Tesla and BYD fight for the crown, the Baojun cloud has quietly won the hearts of the people who actually build the roads they drive on. This is the silent revolution, and whether it arrives on your street or simply reshapes the market from 8,000 miles away, it has already changed the equation. The next time someone tells you the EV revolution is about horsepower and autonomy, remember the cloud. And if you want to understand the disruptions before they arrive, subscribe. We'll be here.